So, here's a quali guide for a stock setup for Race C in the Super Formulas at Suzuka. So, you're going to come into turn 1, flat. Actually, first chicane, last chicane, start of your lap. Alright, downshift to second. You're going to brake a little bit early, like probably around like the 50-meter board to start your lap, a little bit before that. Give yourself some time to slow down, right? Just come through here nice and slow. Set up the car to the right. Give yourself a nice line coming through this exit. Put your right tires on this red and white curb. Alright? And try to just keep the car straight. So you cut this corner. Use as much road as possible. And carry as much speed as you can in third gear. So you're going to short shift to third gear. Right about here as you start to turn in. You're going to turn in, commit to the corner, and hit third. And that's just going to give you stability out of the corner. Alright. You can go a little bit wide after the chicane for a little bit more exit speed, but it's not necessary. You want to get used to the inside line coming out of the chicane right here. You have to get used to this inside line. So the number one thing you're going to encounter coming out of the chicane is oversteer as you shift the weight. So right here, the weight's on the right side of the car. Okay, so you get understeer. You have to be careful of oversteer right here. Okay. And then as you transition the weight from the right side of the car to the left side of the car, it's going to take the weight off your right tires that are on the curb, which is why they break loose. Alright? So as you transfer the weight, lighten up your steering lightly when you do it, so that the car catches nicely, and the weight transfers and you cradle it. You want to cradle the weight of the car, especially in a Super Formula. You just want to cradle the car and let it do most of the work. And just kind of keep yourself in one piece. Alright, so turn 1's flat. You do not lift. You do not brake. You lead the car in just after the 50 board. Right? Just after the 50 board, I've started turning. Right here. Okay, and you're going to take a nice, smooth, slow apex. Just ride the banking. Get to around here. Just after turn 1. And you're going to brake lightly, right? Like quarter brake. And you're just going to downshift the turn and control your speed. So downshifting to 5th, right here, will keep you off of the outside of the track, right? And then downshifting to 4th will get the car to cut in to turn 2. Alright? So I'm just using downshift to turn. And then look at the brake. Nice and light brake, no more than half. I brake pretty late. Okay? Just a slight lift in 5th. Another slight lift in 5th. You want to get on the inside curb, but you don't want to oversteer. So right here, just graze the inside curb, make sure you stabilize the car. You're going to get a lot of oversteer if you don't. You have to make sure the car's pointed straight. So coming in here, the car is mostly straight. I'm turning. As soon as I touch this curb, I know it's going to want to oversteer on me. Right? Right here, it's starting to oversteer. And that's when I slightly lift. Right? So as the car is pitching out from behind me, and it's wanting to travel this way, I lift at the same time, and the car stays exactly where I want it planted. Just because I lift slightly, as the car wants to oversteer. Right? So if you're flat out, this tire spins, you go around. Right? Because you're forcing that much weight on the car sideways going through this corner and then you're applying full throttle, which, yeah, these cannot take full throttle in 5th gear unless you have a really good setup. And with a stock setup, you can't do it. So you have to be mindful as you go over inside curbs. So as I guide the car in, I lift again, and I'm just going to use light steering, and I'm going to stabilize the car on the curb. Get back on the throttle. Then you want to lift early and dab the brake when you're right around here, before you even get to the apex. Because you want to set it up so you stay on this left side all the way through this corner. Alright, then you come out in the middle of the track, mostly to the left side, which then sets you up for this downhill right. What's the number one problem going into this corner for everyone? Just because of the shape of the track. It's a downhill elevation corner, and it sweeps to the right. So naturally, you're used to flat track. If you were to take this corner and brake in normally and try to trail brake through it on a flat track, say like Autopolis, right, the car will grip all the way through. If you try that here, you will end up understeering and out in space. Alright, so not a lot of people respect that this is a downhill. It's a downhill incline. You're going to understeer. Yes, it's slight, but it's still enough. Especially when you throw a car into there. Right? So I downshift the 4th, get back on the throttle, accelerate through here, hit 5th. Be mindful of the inside curb. I stay just off the inside curb because I don't want to oversteer. Stay to the inside here, all the way against the white line basically, from the moment you can bring the car to the inside of the corner. Don't worry about doing it too soon to the point where you're like oversteering as you come to the outside of the track here. Right here, you should still have plenty of grip and the car should still be turning. You shouldn't be understeering through this corner. So like as you come through here, avoid understeer, right? Keep the car agile so that as you get on the throttle in 4th gear, the car still keeps turning, right? Car's still turning, staying agile, right? Staying agile, commit to the corner. You don't want to be understeering heavily. Alright, Dagner 1 is flat. Flat in 6th gear. Just don't lift. Brake after. Go down to 3rd. Alright, so you just want to start turning in right after the 50 board again, just like turn 1. Alright, you're going to lead the car in mostly straight like you do into turn 1. Right? Think of this like a delayed turn 1 and turn 2, where they're the same kind of type of corner, almost, but just spaced out way more. Alright? So you're going to come in here flat, you're going to cut this inside curb. You don't have to cut it entirely. Your main goal is lateral grip and keeping the car square and stable. So as long as you go through here flat, and the car feels stable, and you're comfortable, and you aren't like having to counter steer or like stutter steering on your wheel, like going like this, right? As long as you're smooth and you can stay full throttle and then straighten out the wheel and just brake in a straight line, you'll be fine. Alright, so I got lateral grip. And then as soon as you get to the outside of the track, basically, you're going to brake in a straight line. Start downshifting, downshift to slow yourself down. Alright? As you get closer into the corner, you're going to hit 3rd gear, right? Trail brake, Come off the brakes. Lead the car in. Hit the inside curb. Hit 4th gear and exit in 4th gear. So you use the downshift in 3rd to get your rotation on entry, and then you use the stability of 4th to get the lateral grip on exit and to get a good run. Right? And then you can just comfortably go full throttle without understeer or oversteer. Then you hit 5th. Brake just after the end of this curb on the right. This is always my braking marker for this curb. Or for this corner. Just use this curb and then a little bit after that. Brake in a straight line down to 2nd. Trail brake in 2nd. Wait till you get about here. Then downshift to 1st. Commit the rest of the way with your steering. Just lightly, right? Lightly trail brake. Come off the brakes. Start accelerating. Shift to 2nd. Keep accelerating. Shift to 3rd. And then ease to full throttle. All the way out of the corner. Alright, down to 1st. Back up to 2nd. Back up to 3rd. Stay tight to the right. Alright, spoon. Brake at the 50. Lift at the 50. Downshift to 5th. And lead the car in. Alright? Light brakes. You do not want to understeer into this corner. You want to slow down a little bit early at the 50 board. And then lead the car in and use the downforce to turn the car. Right? Look at my steering. I'm not super heavily committed. I'm not turning 90 degrees. This is how much I'm turning my wheel. Right? I just downshift in 5th and commit with this much steering, and the car reacts and goes that way. Alright? So as you come in here, I'm giving it a little bit of throttle to keep the car stable and keep it rotating to the left as I'm going through the corner. Right? Just a little bit. Just enough. I'm just maintaining RPM. I downshift to 4th. I'm still just quarter throttle. Right? And I'm accelerating towards the outside of the track while still turning left. Right? I lighten up my steering so the car comes out a little bit, which then takes stress off the right side of the car so you can make the 2nd corner. So what a lot of people do is they'll come in here, top speed, try to brake late, right? You're probably running rear brake balance. Try to brake super late, downshift, huck the car into the corner as hard as possible, understeer like crazy, barely hold on to it, right? Be understeering all through here on this curb, almost go on the AstroTurf and off the track, right? And then you get to here, you're still understeering, you try to brake, and then you go straight, right? And the car just won't turn into this corner. All right, so once again, this is a downhill incline. You see that hill? This is going down a hill into a sweeping corner again. And then you can see the hill even more as you go out of the corner, right? It dips down and then goes back up. So this is the same thing as in the S-curves. We have to approach the corner the same way. You got to slow down a little bit early, right? Before the end of the curb. I'm not even full throttle. Alright, then I come off. So I just roll the car in through the gears. Right, half brake, slowing down way early. Like look how far away I am from the end of the curb. I'm braking way back here. Alright, and I have a 38.1. So if I'm braking way back here and you're braking way up here, that's why you're understeering into that corner. Right? And I'm just half brake. And you can just stay 4th through that corner. Because you brake early and lead the car in and get it committed, right? Little short shift down to 3rd, back up to 4th, just to get a little bit of rotation. Then flat, stay to the left here. Also after spoon, you want to make sure you get against the left side of the road. Right? This is important. 130R, flat. Lead the car in after the 50. Stay to the left side of the road. Right? Brake at the 100 board. Down to second. Alright, hold on. I'm going to go through spoon one more time so you guys can see at full speed. It's just a light dab of throttle. That's all I do. I do the same thing in turn 1. That's how I carry speed. Downshift, commit, light dab of throttle. Just maintaining speed. You aren't accelerating. You're just holding RPM. Because that's how this car turns. It needs RPM. You need to just give it a little bit of throttle just so the engine is active. Right? Like through all these slow corners where you don't have aerodynamics, you need the engine active. You need to at least be on the throttle a little bit. Alright, so right about here is where I brake. I'm off the throttle. I brake just after the 100 meter board. Like, you can brake right here and you will make it to the corner. But if you want to go a little bit faster, inch it up to like right here. Right? And you should still be able to stop in time. Why? Because it's like 4 feet. 4 feet in like braking at X amount of kilometers an hour into this corner in this car is like, I don't know, 15, 20 meters. That's what you have to think about. Is a small distance back here in a braking zone, it's multiplied up here as far as braking distance. That's why sometimes if you miss your braking point, you brake just a few meters too late, right? That's what's happening. If you were to just back that braking up just a tad, it'll make trail braking and coming into corners smoothly a lot easier. So you stay on the left side of the road, brake in a straight line, right? Down to third. Okay, I'm still on the left side of the road at the 50. As you pass the 50, go down to second. Here's your rotation coming in. Right? Come off the brakes. Don't try to hold full brake all the way into this corner. Make sure you're releasing the brakes. The car's gliding in second gear, right? You're just rolling in. And then you hit third and start accelerating. All right? We need the throttle. We need the engine active. Right? And just that little bit of throttle is maintaining RPM, and it's rotating the car to the right, and it's setting me up for the next corner. This is one of the reasons why I was so fast in the Supra at Spa last week, was because after Eau Rouge, there's that S-curve where you go right, left, right, and I was braking enough so I could accelerate in third gear in the Supra to the right side of the track and give myself just a little bit of a better setup into that rest of that S-curve, and I could make up a little bit of time on people. And it's the same principle, where you're giving it throttle to turn. Then try to stay as far to the right as you can, but like, coming out of here, you're going to be giving it everything you've got, right? So look at this. Okay. So first, left tires can go on this curb. Alright, so your track limit's through here. This is how you get a top 10 time here. In any car, by the way. It doesn't matter what group it is. If you want to get a top 10 time, the difference between you and the guy at the top of the board, even though you ran a perfect lap, was because you did not cut this chicane and put your left tires on this red and white curb, and you did not cut this part of the chicane with the right tires on this curb. Because if you do this, you will make up like 0.3 seconds. At least. 0.4. If you do it properly, and you don't spin, and you don't make a mistake, this is how you get on the top 10 board. Is cutting these like you don't care about penalties. I mean, this flat part right here, on the inside, this is where I want your right tire. Okay? We used to be able to put our right tire on this green stuff, and this counted. So I would turn here, I would straight line this, right? My right tire just barely stays on this green stuff, and I go straight. Right? And I just carry all the speed in the world because I'm that much further to the left. Right? If you have this runoff on the end of this, right? That's just, yeah. That's nice. It's a lot of extra road. All right, so I posture up to the right for the exit, so you have enough lateral grip, right? Same thing. Right? See, my tire's exceeding the white line. People take this corner normally. There's some people that keep their tires to the left of this white line. Now do you see the problem? This is what I'm talking about. Right? Your left tires are on this. So you can commit in third gear with more of the car, way tighter, and this is what you're looking at on the exit. Right? If you're over here, this is what you're looking at the exit. You have to make your line that much tighter. So how much time are you sacrificing in a high downforce, high powered car if you have to make your corner this much wider? A whole car width. That's mostly what it is. It's all about car position. Where you position your car on the track, each corner, each apex, is what's going to determine your lap time. Not just how hard you push or when you get on the throttle. All right, how much you accelerate. .148. All right. Let's see full speed. Full use of the road in turn 1. Be patient bringing the car into the second apex. Make sure you have lateral grip with all 4 tires, nice and smooth. Lateral grip with all 4 tires. Don't let it get out from underneath you, right? Just lift. Little brake dab. Downshift. Accelerate in fourth. Not too much steering. Don't understeer. Never turn excessively. If you're off line a little bit, don't turn excessively. Adjust your line. Lift if you have to. But don't try to force the car with steering, because it will not agree with you at all. It will eat you alive. Focus on lateral grip, keep it square. Down to third, back up to fourth for traction. Take your time downshifting to first. Make sure the car rotates. Not understeering. Right? The weight's in the center mostly. Spoon, full commitment. Brake early, get into fifth. Use the rotation of 5th gear, down to 4th for the next corner, a little bit of 3rd. Just to help with rotation, then back up to 4th. Flat, stay to the left. Make sure you put your left side tires inside curb, right side tires inside curb. Set this up. It's worth it. Watch the weight transfer on exit. Make sure you do it nice and smoothly, all the way to the line. So coming through the S-curves, you want to make sure you weight transfer smoothly. You don't want to put too much weight on the outside because that's what will make you understeer. Right? Nice and smooth. Just float. Just floating without forcing the car around. I'm almost forcing the car around, but not quite. I'm just making use of what the car is giving me. At its limit, basically. I'm just not exceeding it, because that's where you end up making mistakes and losing time. If at any time I tried to exceed what was available of the car, I would have spun, or I would have just lost time and been slower and understeered. And you'd hear my front tires screeching. Like, listen to the tires. There's a little bit of heavy screech there, right? Nice light steering. Alright, I'll go with an in-car view lap. Just so you guys can see the steering. Exactly how much I'm steering the wheel. I start straightening out the wheel as I get on the throttle. It's all about forward momentum. Keeping the car mostly straight and not twisting it. Also, I use 5 rear brake balance. You can still get a 35 with 0, but 5 rear just gives you that little bit of extra rotation, as long as you have the discipline to use it. So if you find you're locking it up in 5th gear as you're coming off, or if you're locking it up with 5 rear brake as you're coming off the brakes, like into heavy braking zones, just dial your brake balance back a little bit. So like 3 rear, 2 rear, kind of get used to that, and then, you know what I mean, as you work more with it and you get used to it, crank it up more to the rear. You just want to be able to trail brake without locking up the tires. So if you find you're just, you know what I mean, you're having issues here and there with lockup, then just adjust your brake balance accordingly until it stops. This requires a lot of discipline when braking in straight lines as well as trail braking. You just have to be confident and smooth. Confident with your steering, confident with your downshifting. Just trust the car to float. Yeah, just with a stock setup, I think, yeah, with a few adjustments, easily run 34s. Just lacks grip here and there. If I had more lateral grip through the S-curves, then you could just carry more average speed. That's how you get those extra tenths. Is just being able to carry more average speed around the track through certain corners, just with a better setup. More agile, more reactive, just being able to hold a higher lateral G through the corner with grip will just help. So if you know how to do that, and you know a lot about tuning, go for it. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy your races. Have fun. Go win some.